So now I'd like to turn to Martin Brechbiel for our Scratch Builders Corner. Martin, welcome.
Pick up right where we left off last week. Strangely enough, got the body completed. We got a radial arm, a radial coupler. We made and mounted it to the one end. There's a KD at the other end. I neglected to mention that. And I revealed after the fact that this is a substation car, because this is the car that fits in between my steam line and my traction line. If I ever get any wire put up. In the meantime, we got a substation car in the works. This week we're gonna just paint everything up and pretty much finish it, call it done. So this will be pretty short, actually, I think. There. So no trucks under it yet, sitting up on blocks. I usually work with stuff up on blocks for a while until I get very close to the end. I got a stack of those I cut out of some red oak a few years ago. So we paint the roof dark gray over that paper applied roof, an air napkin roof that's glued down. Roof walk boards were pre-painted roof brown and mounted along with the end platforms. Car body got painted Southern Freight Car brown, which is actually not very brown. It's actually kind of a reddish brown, more red than brown, actually. And the deck got painted Canadian National Gray for some reason, probably because I just liked the color. And everything else got just steam black or something that had the word black in the title, because after a while, I can't tell any of them apart. They're all black to me. I've got 4 or 5 different bottles of polyscale black. Black is black, unless you hold them right up against each other close and stare at them until your eyes glaze over. And I hand paint everything almost always. And now that it's about 45 degrees outside at the high point of the day, I'm not going outside and painting anymore. So this is mainly polyscale, but actually this was flow quill, most of this. So yeah, I suffered some slings and arrows from my better half on the aroma permeating from the basement upwards. But it can be done with the exhaust fan with not too much trouble. Everything else got a coat of Minwax stain, which is, I keep an old Fluke chemical bottle, and every time I get a can of Minwax that gets real low, I rinse it out and dump it in that bottle. So it's always changing and it's always varying. It just got a little darker because I think I just put dark walnut in it. And there's the other side of the car. No door on this side. The wooden ladders were fun to build. They're laser cut pieces, but they need a little adjustment whenever you assemble them. Left the roof a little rough and a little lifted here and there. Gives it a little more character. I have not lettered this car as yet. So here's something I didn't talk about last week. I had not put it on until I got it painted. I wanted it painted first before I applied this brake wheel and a gearbox for I don't know where gearbox roof, but the word roof doesn't belong there. So that was all pre-painted, and actually the wire that mounts the wheel actually goes into the wood behind it, so it holds it all in place, doesn't come off very easily. That's some chain that was, I'm not sure where from. That's on a little piece of 15 thousandths brass wire with a loop on it, clipped tight through a link in the wire, a link in the chain, up into a hole inside that gearbox. So it's all glued all there in one piece. There's the front. We got it nice. It's all painted up. And as always, a little dab of black on the doorknob so you can tell that there's a doorknob there. Otherwise, it all blends in. Well, we put our transformer and all the plumbing and wires that go with that and hook that up, mounted in place. all the exposed wire got some green paint on it. I have no idea what color green it is. It was a polyscale green, might have been Main Central green. I know that bottle was on my bench at the time. Some arch bar trucks underneath of it with some Intermountain wheel sets, and we're at the finish line. I didn't bother to letter it. I figured on my railroad, how many of these would we have? Why would we need to number it? Just get out the substation car and run it up the road to where you need it. So one end has a regular steam line, standard coupler on it. The other one has a radial, so you can move it from either direction depending on where you are with what type of motive power you've got. So we got steam on one end and we got a trolley on the other end under wire. And there's just an overhead view. The green didn't come out. Well, it sort of came out okay. I didn't capture it too well in this camera. This camera and I are having many debates about its furthered existence in my possession. I hate to have to buy a new camera. I haven't bought a camera in more than a decade, so I know I'm going to be completely confused if I buy one. And there's the rest of it. From the other side, you can see the wires all hooked up, runs inside next to the door, the back side of the car with the trucks, the front again, so you can see the wire. I guess that's sort of visible going into the generator. And that's where we're done. We'll start a whole new project next week.
That's really an interesting car, no question about it.